Hello and welcome back. Now let's go to our search service. Let's create the method. I'll call the method gigs search. So it's going to be export right here, export async function. I'll call this gigs search. Okay. And this will take in some parameters. So the first one is going to be the search query. Okay. This is going to be what the user will type into the search box or the search input. Okay. This is the property that will hold whatever the user types into the search input. And then we are going to have some other properties. The paginate, I'll call this paginate of type iPaginate props. Okay, let's see what this iPaginate props contains. It contains the from, the size, and the type. Okay, and then we have another property called delivery time. Now this is going to be optional. Now this will be used for filtering. Okay, I already told you about it. If the user wants to filter by delivery date, so we are going to have a drop down. Okay, so on the search page, we're going to have a drop down with the different delivery dates, and then once the user selects a particular delivery date, maybe 5 days delivery or 7 days delivery, then we are going to filter whatever result is displayed on the page. Okay, so we are going to use the delivery time. Okay, and then we have min. This is going to be what will be used to filter by the price. Okay, filter the documents by the price. Max also will be of type number. Okay, here to return promise of type I search results. Okay, I just remembered we can add right now, we can add the return type because we have the correct results. Okay, this will be of type iSeller gig. Okay, so this will be of type iSeller gig, and let's go to get document. Here the return type will be promise of type iSeller gig. Okay, now yes, I expected this, so this I'll cast this as iSeller gig, and then I'll cast this as iSeller gig as well. So when we get a document, we expect it to be of type iSeller gig. Okay, so the same thing here as well. Okay, this is a particular gig. Okay, so now here I think we should use, or probably, yeah, we are not going to use the try catch. Okay, for this, let's go back to the dev page. Okay, so here I want to implement the search. The first search that we want to implement, we do it here, and then we add it to our code right here, which is going to be a little bit different, but just want to give you an idea. So get gigs /_ search. Okay, and then here I'll use curly braces. Okay, and here I'll add the query block. Okay, and then inside the query block I'll add the bool, and then inside bool I will use the parameter called must. So right here, and then the must, sorry, will have to be square brackets, so an array. Okay, and then inside here we add an object. So inside this must, that is where we can add the different queries that we want to use. Okay, so the first set of query will be, we want to query using this search query parameter, and we want to query these properties like username, title, description. Okay, so here is going to be query string. Let me just type that out myself. Query string okay, and then query string, it accept fields, and the field is going to be a list. We are going to update that, and then the query parameter, okay, we add it here. Okay, so now let's specify the field. We want to search username field, we want to search title field, okay, we also want to search description, description, okay, we want to search basic description, we want to search basic title, okay, we also want to search categories, we want to search subcategories, and then we also want to search the tags field. This is going to be just tags, okay, because that is what we have here. Okay, so the first set of search we want to perform would be on these fields, okay, and for our query, okay, let's try beauty, okay, and then hit enter, and now you can see it returned 4 documents, and then you can see it has the it searched the subcategories, and then it returned every document with the beauty text, okay, you can see beauty, and then here beauty as well, okay. In fact, this will return all the documents. Okay, now what about the case where probably we have a search query that is in between, maybe that is in a long text, okay, but is somewhere in the middle, okay. How do we search that? For example, let's say we want to search for this. Let's see what's going to happen. Now it doesn't return any document, okay, because it's in between some other words. But in order to do this, we'll add asterisk at the beginning and then asterisk at the end, okay, and then we search. Now you can see it returned the text that matches, okay, because if we search without the asterisk, it's only going to search for text that in the beginning, okay, the characters in the beginning of the text. But here it's going to search both at the beginning, the middle, and at the end, okay. So this is how we are going to implement it. Maybe music, okay, and I think it also supports lowercase, okay. Click here, it returned 5 documents, categories music, okay, and then let's search for username, or let me look for a different user. Let me just look for a different username, okay, and then search. Okay, it returned 3 docs. So this particular seller has 3 gigs, okay. You can see right here the seller has 3 gigs, okay. So this is the first set of search that we are going to implement, okay. Now let's add it to our code. So here the first thing is I will destructure from size and type from paginate, okay. And now because we are going to use multiple search inside this list, what I'll do is I will separate them. I'll say const query list. So this will be of type I query list. It's going to be an array, okay. And inside this here we are going to add the first object, which is what we have here, what we have right here. So copy what I have right here and then paste it, but I need to make changes. Yes. Now for this, I will use backticks, and here will be asterisks, and then here as well will be asterisks, and then inside I'll pass in the search query, okay. Now if you want, you can use single quotes. I think here I will just remove the single quotes in the keys, Okay. Yes. Okay. So this is the first set of queries that we want to add, and then let's add another. Now what is we want to do is we only want to return gigs in the search that are active. Okay. Let's say, for example, a user updates and then sets this gig to false. Okay. So let me see, for example, the user sets this gig to false. Okay. Now we don't want to return any gig that is not active. Okay. We only want to return active gig. So here I'll add another object, and I want to also search for with the term and then every active gig. So gig where active is set to true. So every gig where this property active is set to true. So if a user sets the gig to false, okay, the active property to false, then that gig should not appear in the search result. Okay, so we don't want that gig in the search result. So that is why we are adding this here as well. Okay, now we have the first part. I'll stop here. In the next video, we are going to add the second part related to the delivery time.